Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Curious About Bitcoin. I'm your host, Brian Rothenberg. Today, I wanted to do another video about what's on my mind. Today, I deployed some additional cash that I had come in from one of my businesses. I am an entrepreneur. I have businesses that churn out cash, but it's very intermittent. And so that kind of got me thinking about how I wanted to deal with the cash that I have coming in. So because some of that is intermittent, unlike my paycheck from my job, which is consistent every 15 days I get a paycheck and I know exactly how much that's going to be. My business has ups and it has downs. It has spending this month and then it has revenue that month. So it's a little bit more variable there. And so I gave some thought as to what I wanted to do with that money as it was waiting around. And I don't really want to leave it in dollars, but I was thinking that, I would put it into Bitcoin and I would potentially have to smash buy into Bitcoin and pay fees. And then when I needed the money in a couple of months, usually that I might have to pay money again, but the appreciation of Bitcoin would help with that. And so, that's great unless Bitcoin drops, in which case it wouldn't be as good. So one of the things that I saw today as I was scrolling around on X was this post from Joe Burnett, who I believe works at Unchained Capital and may have affiliations at a couple of other places. And he was talking about basically using STRF, which is the, I guess, crown jewel of preferred stock offerings from Strategy, as basically a savings account, right? You deposit your cash, you buy Strife, and then you spend with your debit card or ACH and you sell it. And so, with Strife, where it's trading today, it pays 10% or it pays $10 worth of dividends annually at a $100 price. That's 10% per year. Right now, it was trading a little bit above that. I think the time this morning it was even up, but I think it went down quite a bit today. But basically, when Joe proposed this, someone else posted the fact that in a Fidelity Cash Management account, you can invest things and then basically it'll automatically convert those investments if you need the cash. And I was like, wow, I never really thought about doing that. So whether I did that with something like IBIT for Bitcoin exposure, whether I did that with something like MSTR if I wanted that kind of exposure, or as Joe was suggesting here, STRF, which should be a little bit less volatile than some of those other pieces. That could be a really, really interesting and good place for me to store my cash because I may have excess cash and then also need to spend that in the future. And it's a good place for it to potentially accumulate there. And so I gave this some thought today. And one of the things that I've been thinking about, in addition to, the investments in Bitcoin treasury companies directly, isn't really the use of Strife, isn't really the use of Strike. There are others, or really interest in STRD, which is another preferred offering from Strategy, but it's MSTY, right? Would I need to use MSTY? Should I get income from that? It's not very tax efficient. I would probably, invest in it in a taxable account and want appreciation in all of my tax exempt accounts like my HSA and my IRAs. And so I hadn't really invested in that before. But now that I'm thinking about this new strategy of basically investing the money that I have sitting in cash and sweeping it over as needed, I thought that, Misty could be an interesting play there. And one of the reasons for that is that it's going to churn out dividends every month at a pretty high rate, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 10% dividends, not annually, 5 to 10% dividends monthly, right? So a couple of dollars per share. And right now it's trading just above $20. And so as I was kind of thinking through this could be really useful in a month where I have excess cash. I get the dividend from Misty and then I plow it back into more shares for Misty for next month. In a month where I need some money, the dividends from Misty hopefully will help, pay some of my bills down and all of those things. And if I really needed to, I could sell the Misty shares themselves. But between the dividend reinvestment that I would do, not doing it automatically, but myself, I should be able to not have too much erosion of the net asset value, the underlying core of the stock there. And so I think this is what I'm going to do with a small difference. Hash over Cash, do want to shout him out or her out. I haven't checked that for talking about the Fidelity Cash Management account that way. And by the way, I love Fidelity. I've used Schwab, I've used Vanguard, I've used Robinhood. I haven't used everybody else out there. I use Navy Federal Credit Union, and that was my second favorite checking account. But I love the Fidelity Cash Management account. They gave me free checks. I have a debit card. I can have free ATM withdrawals, although I almost never do that. I can have money invested in the same account. I can have a an overdraft protection where I can pull from one of my other invested accounts rather than have overdraft fees and all of those things, which I don't ever really overdraft my account unless I'm doing stupid fiat games or something like that, trying to time things too well. But I love the Fidelity Cash Management account, and this just gives me more bullishness on that. And I'm glad that I have all my investments pretty much at Fidelity. But the thing that I'm going to do differently from what Hash Over Cash does is basically keep the money that I need for the next month until, I don't know, two pay periods from now in cash every time I get paid. Have DCA coming out of my account, which will probably be my full paycheck, and really use my side business to pay my other expenses, which I think it will be able to do. And so I will have some extra money, some extra cash as a result of the money that I had just come in. So I'm going to put that into Misty. It'll be a sizable amount. It should churn off at least a couple $1,000s worth of dividends next month. And then I'll have some more money hopefully coming in the next 30 days as well. And then I can reevaluate things then. That way, there's always significant money going into Bitcoin, but with this other money, I have more flexibility with it, right? I can use the dividends from Misty to pay expenses. I can reinvest them. If I have even extra money beyond the dividends, I can invest that in Misty and perhaps build it up to a position where at some point in time, Misty can do one of two things. Maybe it can pay off some of the fiat debt that I have out there, or number two, maybe it can replace my day job income and allow me to quit. I'm really not necessarily looking for that outcome. I'm really looking more for the value of my portfolio to be enough where I say I can peace out and I can let my side business run my income for me. But all of these are really cool things to be thinking about. So just wanted to give my thoughts on this because it kind of preoccupied my mind a little bit today as I was going through my workday. Going to do a little something suggested by Joe, but different because I'm not going to use STRF. I'm really going to use MSTY. It's definitely going to have a little bit more risk to it, but I'm not really risk averse with the things that I have coming in, and I can always change it later if I really kind of see things going south. But it'll also force me to spend more time thinking about Misty, watching Misty, investing in Misty, doing more homework on Misty. I don't think that this is a magic money machine. I'm definitely a little bit concerned about what will happen in a bear market. And I know that there might be ways to mitigate that with some other investments and things like that. But we'll see. I don't think we're going into a bear market for Bitcoin or for strategy in the coming months. So this could be really, really good in the short term for me for my excess cash there. And so that's where I'm at with my Bitcoin treasury companies, with my Bitcoin. The first rule I really want to follow is I don't want to sell any of that stuff. Like I want to be able to, keep it in a down market, all of that stuff. So I want to have some other money to sell. And I think that Misty would be a really, really good opportunity for me to have potential for the dividends reinvested or not. But just building that out, I think it's going to be worthwhile overall. I'll keep track of the money that I put into it and the money that I pull out of it. And maybe sometime I'll do some kind of an accounting of, this month, this much went in, this much came out in percentages. Don't really want to go over the actual numbers with you all, but that's pretty much everything I had to share today. I'll stop sharing my screen. I thank you all for watching this video. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on X. My handle is Rothenberg Brian, and I really appreciate you watching. Have a great day wherever you are.